Hi guys, this is Vixxstarr, and today in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my super cute mini sock monkeys. They sit up by themselves, so they're good little shelf sitters. These guys are actually the same size, so one looked a bit bigger there for a second. But today I'm going to show you how to make this purple, orange and green one. I know it's an interesting color choice. This one I made for my sister, so she chose the colors specifically. I'll have to apologize in advance for the quality of some of my lighting and video background noise. As you know, I do have a 2-year-old, and basically my whole street has kids surrounding me, so there is a little bit of background noise here and there. And my lighting, which I think is better to show my stitching, does actually make the colors look a bit off. So yeah, just a warning about that. As well, I probably wouldn't say that this design is for your basic beginners. I would say that you should probably at least try to do like a basic Loomigurumi ball, or I've got a video for a lovely little 3D heart that you can do. Now that's a pretty good beginner's video. But yeah, I hope you guys can follow and that you have fun making your own super cute little sock monkeys. I can't wait to see them on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. What you will be needing is just your hook, and I'd say 3 colors is what I used today. I started off with 3 full bags of rainbow loom bands. I now have my orange and my purple, probably about 150 to 200 bands left, and my green I would easily probably have about 300 to 400 bands left. So he's not too band hungry. Super cute little guy. I absolutely love them, so I hope you do too. And yeah, get your bands and everything sorted. Find some buttons, but we'll do that as we follow on. And yes, be prepared to stop, fast forward, rewind if you need to. Like I said, this video is maybe just a little bit rushed in places, but I hope you guys can still keep up. Okay, and let's get to it. Okay, so for our monkey's paws, we are going to start with a circle, 10 stitches. So grabbing your first single band and going around your hook 3 times, grabbing another single band, feeding that through and reclaiming it, and then grabbing another single band, feeding it through and reclaiming. So that's our first stitch. We're going to go back through that center cap, the 3 pieces of that band, making sure you grab all 3 pieces, and we're going to grab another single band and pull it through that cap band, reclaiming like so. Grab another single band, pull it through both of the bands on your hook. So that's 2 stitches. Back through that center cap, single band through it, reclaiming, another single band through all. That's 3 stitches. Back through that center cap, single band through, another single band through all. 4 stitches. Back through the center, pull a band through, reclaim, single band through all. So that's 5. So if we want to count, go back to the start. It's not the first band but the second is where it starts to turn into teardrop looking pardon me, teardrop looking stitches all the way around. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th is on our hook. So we're going to do 5 more, so going back in through that center band, pulling 1, another single through all, 6, back through that center band, pulling 1, then another one through all, 7, back through the center band, another band through, and then another single band through all, so that should be 8. Go for number 9, single band through, single band through all, and this will be number 10. So what we'll do is we'll go through that single band, center band, pull a single and hold it, reclaim it, then find not the first band coming out of the center but the second, so the top of our first stitch, and just hold on to that, pull a single band through all of your hook. So there is our starting circle of 10 stitches. For our next row, we're just going to go around single stitching, but then we're going to decrease a couple of the stitches, so we're going to take it from 10 all around down to 8. So using green still, grab a single band and just pull 2 through, so 1, 2, that's our first stitch. Moving on to that first teardrop, going through there, we're going to put a single stitch, so 1 band through, reclaim, and then 1 band through all. So that's 2, going on to the third, 1 band through, and then 1 band through all. For number 4, we're going to decrease, so we're going to do 4 and 5, we're going to put together. So we'll pull 1 band through 4, the 4th stitch, hold on to it, go into the 5th stitch, pull 1 band through, hold on to it, and then grab a single through all of those. So we've turned those 2 stitches, the 4th and 5th, down to 1. Now for the 6th and the 7th we're going to do the same, so go through your 6th stitch, pull a single band, go through the 7th stitch, so the one next to that, pull a single band, reclaim, and then grabbing a single band and going through all of those stitches off your hook. And to follow it around to the end, we're just going to single stitch. So this next one, you can see where the 7 has come out, go to number 8, put a single, and a single through all, number 9, pull a single through, and a single through all, and our 10th stitch, we can see right here, leads on to where our next one starts from again. So go through that 10th and final little teardrop stitch, pull a band and hold onto it, then find the first one where we started. It's not the first stitch coming off but the second, it's that first teardrop on the top. So it's not that one but the next one. Go through there and hold it, pull a single band through, and this is where I actually like to flip it inside out because we're going to be stitching around. There's the bottom of our foot. I'm going to keep going around the outside, and I'm also going to change colours. So now we should have 8 stitches around the top. We'll count the one on your hook as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. All those little teardrops around the top are 1 stitch. Okay, so next colour I'm going to do will be purple. I'm going to carry it on the same as the opposite arm, so we're going to go green, purple, orange, purple, orange, purple, and I'll do 1 row of purple and then I'll put a little bit of stuffing in the foot. So grabbing my purple bands, I'm going to carry on and go 1 stitch straight through and reclaim, and then another one. So that brings us up to our height. That's our first stitch, and we're just going to do a single in each one of those 8 stitches till we get back to the start. It's going into our second, pull a single band through, and then a single band through all, into our third stitch, pulling a band, reclaim, and a band through all, fourth stitch, pull a band through, and then a band through all, fifth stitch, pull a band through, and a band through all, sixth stitch there. Gets a little bit hard to see, so just move your bands around so they're not all twisted. Sixth stitch, pull a band through, pull a band through all, seventh stitch, single band through, and a single band through all. So now this will be our eighth and final for that row. So you can see we've got that one green left there. Go through that one as number 8, pull a band and hold on to it, and then find not your first purple but your second, go through that one as well and pull a single band through all, and that is that row done. So push your band up onto your hook so you don't lose that, and I'm going to grab a little bit of stuffing, just enough to stuff the end of the little paw there, and we'll leave the rest. You can stuff the whole leg if you'd like, but I find it's very fiddly and you don't really need it, and ends up sticking out. So I like just that little bit of weight on the end there. I'm going to use a piece of stuffing, we'll say about that size. We don't want it too big, we just want it to be big enough to put a little bit in the paw. And we're going to put that in right now. Stuff that in so it's nice and firm but not poking out the holes. Okay, and that'll make it a little bit easier to work around as well with your purple. Now I'm going to switch my colours to orange. So I'm going to go single orange straight through that purple, and then another single orange. That's our first stitch, and we're going to go around and put a single stitch into each one of those 8 purple stitches. So that's our first one. Going to number 2, a single band, and then a single band through all. Going into number 3, just that teardrop on the top, single band through, single band through all, through the next stitch, single band through, single band through all. So I'm just carrying on and putting a single stitch into each one of those purple. Number 7. And number 8, same as we did before, go through that 8th stitch, pull a band through, and then find not the first but the second orange band, which is our first stitch. Hold on to that and pull a single band through. Okay, so we've got that little paw on the end with our 2 rows. And we're just going to carry on. We're going to do another row of purple, single stitch all the way around, another row of orange, single stitch all the way around, another row of purple. So we'll carry on back with the purple, should I say. Single purple straight through, and another one straight through, onto your next stitch in the orange there. Band through and then a band through all, and just follow it all the way back around. 8 stitches. Almost back around again. 7th stitch, and my 8th stitch through that last stitch there, pulling a band, and then counting not the first purple but the second purple, holding that and pulling a band through all. Okay, so now back to orange, pulling a single band through, another single band through. There's our first stitch, onto our second stitch, single band through, and once again just following on, putting a single stitch into each one of those 8 purple. Oh, grab 2 bands then, single through, and back around. So now I'm on to my 7th stitch again, and number 8, pulling a band through, holding on to it and counting not the first but the second orange, grabbing that, pulling a band through, and now our last row for our arm is purple again, so pulling a purple through and another purple for our first stitch, following on and putting a single, so I'm just stretching my bands around to twist them, putting a single into each one of those orange stitches. So number 2, three, 4, 5, grabbing heaps of bands, 6, 7, and 8, going through that last stitch of orange, pulling a purple through, then finding not the first but the second purple, holding onto that and pulling a band through. And that there is our monkey's arm, the little paw on the end. I'm going to grab a green and I'm just going to slip knot that last band, slip knot a green through that last band, should I say. Give all your bands a little bit of a twist just to fiddle so that they're more comfortable. And now you need to go back and watch that again, or just, if you can remember, make your second arm. So you should have 2, and we're going to move on and we're going to do the legs. And the legs are much the same, just a little bit longer and slightly different in the foot. We'll start with green again. So for our foot, starting with our circle with 10 stitches again, so putting a wrap band 3 times around your hook, pulling a single band through, and then another single band through. So there's our first stitch, back through that triple cap band, pulling a single band through, and a single band through all. So that's 2 stitches, back through that cap band, single band and 3 stitches, back through the cap band again, single band, 4 stitches, back through the center, single band, 5 stitches, back through the center, single band, 6 stitches, back through the center, single band, 7 stitches, back through the center, single band, another single, 8 stitches, now number 9, single band, 9 stitches. So for number 10 we go through the center, pull our 10th single band through, and then not the first but the second green band, claim that as well. That was off our first stitch, and pull a single through all. So there, once again, we have our circle with 10 stitches. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single round. So we're just going to put a single stitch into each one of these. So starting again with green, single, single. There's our first stitch going into the next teardrop, which is the one that we ended on. 2 into the next, a single, 3 into the next, four stitches into the next, number 5, the next, number 6, the next is number 7, the next is number 8, we're on to number 9, and so into the 10th, pull a single band through, and then find the next one that your first stitch comes off, not the first green but the second. Grab onto that, pull a green band through all, reclaim. So that's what we've got. I'm going to flip it inside out, so I'm working around the outside. And if you haven't noticed with the hands, that's how we get our seam on the inside. It looks neater on the outside too. So for the next row, we're going to do what we did with the hands. We're going to go single, and then we're going to do a couple of decreases. So for the first 3 stitches are just going to be singles. So 1 single, and then another. Onto the next stitch, number 2, single. To the next stitch is number 3, single. So number 4 and 5 we're going to decrease. So we're going to go through number 4, pull a band and hold on to it, then through number 5, pull a band and hold on to it, and then take a single band through all. Same with 6 and 7, so we're going to go through stitch 6, pull a band, hold on to it, stitch 7, pull a band and hold on to it, and then pull a single through all. So we've decreased 2 down. Now for the rest we're just going to do singles, so that will be number 8, single through, number 9, gets a little bit tricky to see because it's getting a bit tighter, 9, single band through, 4. So number 10, our last one on this row, go through number 10 stitch, pull a single through, and then count from the next stitch, not your first green but the second one. Oops, sorry guys, getting out of shot there. Holding that, pulling a single through all, and that is the base of our paw of our foot. So it's up to you. You can put some stuffing in it now if you want, or you can wait till the next row. What I might do is I'll put some stuffing in it now though, because it might make it a bit easier to see. So I'll push it up onto my hook, grab a little bit of stuffing, don't want too much, smush it around. Gosh, the sun's just come in my window, and pop it in there into the foot. Smush it all around so it's nice and comfortable but not poking out all the holes. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the next row, which for the foot is orange. Put that up there. And so single orange, single orange, into the next teardrop. So we should have 8 stitches around. Single, putting a single into each one of these 8 green stitches. So that's 3. And number 4. And 5. 6. So you can push the stuffing in with your finger and grab onto the stitch. Number 7. And lucky last, number 8, so we pull our 8th band through and then find not the first but the second orange, the teardrop on the top there. Hold on to that, pull an orange through all, and that's our first row around. So we're going to do another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, single all the way around, so purple, orange, purple, orange, purple. I'll do another one with you, and then I will fast forward myself doing the next following rows. So switching to purple, pulling a single through and another single onto the next stitch in the orange, so that's 2, next stitch, 3, next is 4, orange number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. So number 8 we pull our band through, find not the first but the second purple and hold that and pull purple through all. Okay, so we've done bottom of the paw and the first 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and go another 5 rows, each row changing colour, purple, orange, and just putting a single into each of the 8 stitches. And I will keep going with that, and I will fast forward. You can follow on, pause, stop, rewind if you need to, and finish making your foot with me, your paw, and go back and make the second one. And number 8. So 8th stitch through the last purple, and then find not the first but the second orange, and put a stitch through all. Great, so I'm going to grab another green band and I'm just going to slip knot that last orange. I'm going to fiddle my bands around so they're nice and comfortable. So you will need to go back and make another one. Start again from the bottom of the foot and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of single 8 stitch stripes. Okay, so go back and do that. Then you should have 2 arms and 2 legs, and we're going to go on and we're going to make the tail. Okay, so for the tail, I'm going to start with green again. I'm going to start with a circle, but this time with 7 stitches. So grab a single band and go around your hook 3 times. Pull a single band through, and then another single band through that one, making sure you've got that cap band on. And then another single band through that one. So back through that center capped band, pulling a single, and another single through all. That's 2. Back through that center cap, pulling a single, single through all, so that's 3. Back through that center cap, pulling a single, single through all, so that's 4. Going for the 5th through the center, number 6 through the center, pull band, band through all, and our last one, number 7, through that center, pull a single band, and then go and collect not the first but the second green from our first stitch, and pull a single through all. So there's our starting circle of 7 stitches. We are going to have it popping through that way, so we're going to keep stitching around with the tail forming. Now we are going to do single round times 10. So what I might do is keep on with the green for another single. So we'll go 1, 2, that's our first stitch, into the next, there's 2, into the next, 3, to the next one, 4, to number 5, number 6, and number 7, our last one. Go through that 7th stitch, pull a single, and find the next stitch, so not the first band coming off but the second band through the top of that teardrop, and pull a single band through. So this is the base of our tail. Okay, what I might do is just grab my last little bit of stuffing and push that up, and I'm going to pop it in. So if your tail is like that, just pop it inside out so it's sitting that way, and then place a little bit of stuffing in the end of that little tail. You don't really need it, but I just like that it puts a little bit of weight in there. Like so, just a little bit of stuffing. Now I'm going to move on to purple. So we've just done single round times 10. We need to do 10 more. So we'll start, 10 plus the end of the tail. So we'll start with purple, single, single, into the next. It's going to be 7 stitches round, 7 single stitches, 2, 3. It's a little bit tricky because it's small. Should be able to see with that stuffing. 4, 5, 6, and once we get past this row, then the stuffing isn't in the road either. And 7, so pulling a single band through that 7th stitch, and then finding not the first but the second purple one, collecting that and pulling a single through all. Okay, so that's our first coloured round after the tip of our tail. We're going to do 9 more. So I'll show you with my other monkey. We've gotten to there, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more rows of single stitches. So I'm going to go purple, I'm going to skip to orange, move my bands around so they're not all twisted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. So last purple, the orange through, and then find not the first but the second orange band and pull a single band through. So that's 2 rows done of the coloured stripes. We're going to do 8 more rows. 8 more rows of single stitches. So what I might do is keep going and fast forward, and when I get to the end of my tail I will stop and we will catch back up. Okay, so I'm on my 10th row, my last row of my tail. I'm just doing the last row of orange single stitches, and then I can move on. So 6, and number 7. First with the second orange band through. I'm going to grab a green and I'm going to slip knot it through that last orange band. And there we go. There is our tail. Now we're going to skip ahead and we're going to make the nose and the ears. Okay, so for his ears, I'm going to use green, and we're just going to do half a circle, so basically 5 stitches, and that'll be his ear. So starting with single band tripled on your hook, pulling a single band through, and then another single band through that one, going back through that tripled band, getting all 3 pieces. So that was our first stitch. Now we're going to put our second stitch in, single band again, through all, going for our third stitch through the center, 3, 4th stitch through the center, and making sure it's through all, 5th stitch, so back through that center band again, pulling a band through, pulling a band through all, and then I'm just going to end that by adding a slip knot band. It's going to be one of the 2 colours joined to the head. It's going to be either orange or purple for me. So I'm just going to end it with an orange one. Slip knotting it. And that's his ear. So you need to make another one of them, just another half circle, 5 stitches, pardon me, and we'll actually add a couple more of these slip knot bands, and that's how we'll be attaching it to the head. So simple little ear, that one. Ta-da! On the other monkey. So go ahead and make a second one of those, and we will go forward and make his nose. Now I've got his 2 little ears. I'm going to keep going with the green for his nose. I'm going to start the same way again. We're going to do a circle with 10 stitches. So getting that triple band, first stitch, second band. Just trying to get my camera to focus a bit more for you. So that's 2. Back through the center. 3. Center. 4. 5. Oh. Making sure it wasn't split. Thought it might have been split for a second, that band. So this is number 6. I'll go back and I'll count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So 7. 8, 9, and 10. So in through the center, and then finding that second green band, Band through all. Now what I want you to do, now this is up to you, because I think for my other one what I did was I just increased one band on either side, but for this one I'm going to make his mouth just a little bit bigger, or make his cheeks a little bit bigger should I say, so it comes out just that little bit more. So for every second stitch we're going to add a stitch, so we're going to increase. So you should have 10. We're going to bump it up to about 15 or 16 depending how you do it, doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to start off with not flicking bands. First stitch, so 2 single bands through. Okay, next stitch is going to be, all I'm doing is flicking bands today. Another single. So what I might do is I'll start on a single and I'll start with it single, but I'll end it as a double. So we'll keep that next one a single, and this one I'm going to make a double. So we'll go 1, and then another one into the same stitch, 2. Okay, so I've got single. Technically I've got a single, but we'll make that a double at the end. So we'll go single, single, and then double. See, 2 stitches into the same. So then we'll go single again, and then we'll go double into the next one. So 1, and 2. Sorry if you can hear the background noise, my son watching his play school. Then single into the next one, and then a double into the next one. 1, 2, then single, 1, so then double, 1, and the second one into that double. For the last stitch there is going to be a single. Grab that band I flicked, so pulling that one through, and like I said, we're going to add the first one, we're going to turn it into a double, so I'm just going to slip stitch into that first one where we started, and then go back and find not that first band but the second one coming off it, pull a single band through, and that is basically our nose. Okay, so just shift your bands around. It's going to be that way, and I'll just measure him up to my other head. Okay, so his nose is just going to be a little bit bigger than that one, but once it's actually attached to the head it won't look so much like it is. Now we're going to add a little smile onto there, so you can choose whatever colour bands you want to use for his smile. I think I'm going to do mine in purple, so I'll just grab a couple of purple bands. I'll grab an orange to just finish that off, so I'll just do a slip knot in the last band. So like I said, that's how we'll end up attaching it anyway. So I might make it like so. I'm going to put some bands across for his mouth. So going in the back side, looking at which side you think's neater, I'm going to go through this side and just, what we'll do, probably start in the middle, go through one to the other like so. So on the other side you can see it's like that. Just below the little center part I'm going to do mine, and I'm going to pull 2 bands through and collect. Then I'm just going to do single band through those and a little slip knot. So look at it from the other side, that's what you've got so far. Then I'm going to go through the back next to it because I want to put another band around here. So I'm going to go through about there, back over to the same hole, bring another 2 bands through, and pull another single one in through to slip knot it. And then just check the other side and see if you think this looks okay. To me, I think it looks fine so far. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just fix my bands a little bit around. Go through the back side from there to there. Pulling a couple more bands through. Collect. And the single band through to do a slip knot. So that is his mouth. You can fix the bands around so that they make it look like he's smiling a little bit more. Now we're just going to do his nose. So I'm going to do his little nostrils in orange, and I'm just going to take 2 singular bands and 1, so 3 singular bands, but 1 each for his nostrils. So you can do them that way or that way. I'm going to do mine straight through the back from about there to there. I'm going to pull 1 band through and hold it. Then I'm going to find the same position on the opposite side. So you can do this, you can slip knot it and then do another one singularly, but I'm going to use the same band to slip knot both nostrils. I'm going to measure probably about here. See if this works. Pull a band through and collect it, and then a single band through both. Just check it from the other side. Fix your bands up a little bit. And there is my mouth and my 2 little nostrils. So I might fix them around a little bit more. So far I don't mind the position because it might make him look like he's got a slightly different facial, you know, like he's sniffing his nose a little bit, or yeah. But for now I'm just going to leave it like that, and we're going to move on. What I would say is probably to choose some buttons for his eyes. Yeah, beads or buttons. The ones that I've chosen for this little guy are about 1 centimetre, so 10 millimeters. It's up to you how big or small you want to make them. Now you've basically got all your pieces, and we're going to start stitching from the bottom and attaching everything and making our little monkey. So get sorted and we will get started. Okay, so this part's up to you. Grab your tail and your legs, your arms and your legs, but initially the tail and the legs are going to be joined on the same row. So what you want to do is just find where your legs, we did an decrease around here, so your legs look a little bit more like feet at the end. So that's going to be the top of the leg where the little foot kind of bunches up. Doesn't matter if you get it slightly wrong, but you may just want to press your legs down. You know that's going to be on the top. You find the basic shape, and there too. So that's going to be the top of the legs, and they're going to be joined around the row like so. It's up to you if you want to put some markers on there to hold the bands together, but we're going to be stitching the 2 rows of bands together. So we've got 8, 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom, and we're going to basically be stitching them into one of the rows. So you'll just want to get them nice and flush with each other, find where the bands line up so that it's a little bit easier when you're joining. I'm not going to go ahead and put markers on mine this time. Normally what I would do though is just maybe put a band through there on that side, and then as well as the opposing, so that you've already got your 2 bands on the edge, and then you can attach it, but it does make it a bit more fiddly. So what we'll do is we'll just have our pieces ready, and we're going to start with the bottom and we'll just attach them as we go. Okay, I'm going to start with my purple. We're going to do a circle with 10 stitches. So single band tripled, first stitch, 1 single, 2, going back through that center band, second stitch, back through that center band, 3, back through the center, 4, we got 5, and 6, back through the center for 7, 8, number 9, and the last one, number 10, going through, pulling a band, finding not the first but the second purple of the first stitch, pulling a band through all. So that is the bottom of our monkey. For the next row I'm going to switch over to orange, and I'm going to do a double in every. So I'm going to start on a single and I'm going to end on a double, if that makes sense. So we're going to go single, the next one's going to be double, so putting 2 stitches into there, I'm going to increase it from 10 to 20. So that's 1, through the same one again for 2, next stitch putting 1, and then 2, onto the next stitch, 1, 2, so we're increasing 2 stitches to every single stitch. 1, 2, oh, to the next, 1, 2, next stitch, 1, oop, and then 2, getting there, into the next stitch, going 1 and then 2 into the next stitch, 1 and then 2 into the next stitch, which is our final purple. So we go 1 and then our second, and then the one that we started on was a single, see there, so we're going to turn it into a double. So we're just going to go back through that one we started on, the purple, add a stitch, then go not the first orange but the second, grab that and pull a single through. So that's our first 2 rows done. The face of it that's looking at you is going to be the outside, so that's where our seam is coming up. It's a bit more obvious. We're going to have that the inside of the monkey. So slip that up onto your hook, fix your bands a little bit, and we're going to be joining the legs, so with the little feet pointing up, so I'll make them upside down. I'm going to be joining them on around there, and the tail at the back. So what you want to do is you want to count where you want to have your legs and your tail attached. Saying that this is the back, the tail is going to be attached straight away, so we'll just hold that there for now. Count around where you want your legs to be. You need to have 4 for each leg. So if we say that that's about the center there, I'm going to leave 1 band, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, about there. We're working it around this way, so we'll go center, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where I'm going to start attaching my leg. So I'm just going to use my hook to put a little band in to mark it. That's where my leg's going to start being attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll have a spare in the middle. Then we'll go 1. So that's where it's going to be attached again. From there, 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. So basically just put a little marker band to say where I'm going to attach my legs, where they're going to start and where they're going to end. Okay, so that will be one leg there and the other one there. The tail, basically I'm going to start halfway through, just going to hold it together, and I'm going to start on that band where we ended. Okay, so we'll just move on. We'll start attaching the tail. We're going to move on to the next colour. So I'm going to pick up where I'm going to start my next row. I'm going to pick up my tail. That's going to be the bottom there, like I said, is going to be sitting on the ground when the monkey's sitting up. So we want the tail. We want to find a stitch that is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook out and make sure that I don't lose those stitches. So I'm going to hold on to it like that. So I've got those last stitches. I'm going to go through the tail. I'm going to go holding it close to itself. I'm going to go through the opposite stitch. Try and get this to focus a bit better. I'm going to go through the opposite stitch, and then I'm going to go through the stitch that's slip knotted with the green, making sure I go through to actually close that stitch off. So when I pull that green marker stitch out, it doesn't fall apart. Okay, so I've gone through one on the other side, and the one that that marker has gone through. And then I'm going to go back through the two that I had pinched on my finger there, and we're going to start. So I've got that there on my hook and those two on the back there. We're going to stitch it together. So with my purple, I'm going to pull a single through all of those, and then I'm going to add another single. There's our first stitch. We've started attaching the tail. So now just keep that green band out of the road so you don't get confused. Go on to the next stitch in the tail and the one on the opposite side that's opposing that too, like so, and then into the next stitch on your bottom, so through there, that next stitch there. Pull a purple through, and then pull a purple through all of those purples. So we've done 2 stitches on the tail. When we come back to the end, we'll do another 2 stitches. So I might just put one last one on the end there just to secure it a little bit better. So I'll just go through that end bit of the tail and onto my next stitch on my bottom, single purple through, and a purple through all. So we're just doing a single stitch basically into every one of these 20 stitches, and we're just attaching the tail as we go. We're going to go onto just the next stitch because we've put 3 in the tail, so just the next stitch on the orange on the bottom, single purple stitch, onto the next single purple stitch, onto the next single purple stitch, not getting confused with this little band I got tied there. Now that next stitch has got that band tied on, so this is where I want to start attaching my legs. So I'm going to grab one of my legs and line it up so that when it falls down, it's got the bit of the foot pointing upwards. So I'm going to fold it down next to itself. I'm going to actually go through probably the one that has that band finishing it, so the last stitch on the leg there, I'm going through there to close it off, and I'm going to go through, I'm going to take that little slip knot band off now because I know that's my next stitch. I'm attaching the leg. Then I'm going to go through the next teardrop that's actually next to that as well, and then I'm going to go through, so that's on the leg still, so I've got 2 stitches of the leg, making sure that first one's closed off, and then going on to the next stitch on the bottom of the body, pulling a purple through all of those. Whoops, try that again, shall we? Pulling a purple through all of those except for the purple you already had on your hook, and then another single purple through all. Now I should be able to take this green off and not have my leg come apart. You may not have used that stitch yet, but just remember when you get to that closing stitch that you are going through and tying it off so that it doesn't come apart. So now we're going to go through the next stitch that's next to there on one side as well as it's opposing on the other, on the leg, and we're going to go into the next stitch that's on the body, pull a purple, and pull a purple through all, onto the next 2 stitches on the leg, so the one on one side and then one on the other that's opposing it, onto the next stitch in the body, pull a single through, and then pull a single through all. So the last one, we want to get the last couple of stitches in the leg. Doesn't really matter too much as long as you're closing it off nicely. So I'm going to go through there, nice little bunch on the leg. I'm going to go through that last one that I've got the little marker on, so I'll pull the marker out, go through there, pull that single band through, and then a purple through all, The next one is just going to be a straight single stitch. So single, my marker just fell off. So that's one leg attached. If you want it to be a little bit neater when you do that single there, so I might just back off and go back. God, I'm losing them now. Sorry guys. Get back to where I was. Okay. If you want, you can slip 2 bands into that next single, so you can go back through the leg again if you want to and go through there, pull a band. So you've just added a little band in to close off any spacing. Then go back through there and put another little band through and band through all. So I've just put another extra band in to close off any gap that might be there, a hole in the leg. Onto the next leg, that's where I had my marker, so I'm going to go find where the foot is, about there. I'm going to go through that stitch again that finished off my leg, and I'm going to go through the stitch that's right next to it. I might actually go back through that center one to close off whatever hole was going to be there, like so. Back through to the next stitch. So what I'm doing is just adding, I added an extra band there just to close off to make sure there wasn't any hole. So I've got an extra band on my hook. Now I'm pulling through all, so you can see I've just put that extra one. I'm going to take off this green slip knot band. Okay, so we've got the first leg joined and the next leg's beginning, so we're going to go through one stitch on one side of the leg and its opposing stitch onto the next stitch in the body, pull a band through all, into the next stitch of the leg and its opposing stitch into the next one for the body, pulling a stitch through all. The last one, the 2 pieces of the leg, I'm just going to grab a little bunch again, going on to the next of the body, pulling a stitch through, just orange, and then a stitch through all. So that's that second leg attached. Now we're just going to follow on, single stitch into each of the next of just the body, so single, single stitch, single stitch, single stitch. We probably want to have the last couple where so I'll do one more. No, actually, I'll leave it so I've got, see, 1, 2 there. I'm going to go back and grab that part of the tail, so we got 2 more stitches there. So I'm going to press that against, grab 1, 2 bands, so like a bit of a bunch there in the tail. Go on to the next band in the body, pull a single through, and stitch. So then the last couple, 2 pieces of the tail on either side and then through the body. And this is where we pull 1 band through. We actually find not the first but the second purple and reclaim that. And pull a single stitch through, move that up on my hook so that I can shuffle my bands a little bit, and there we have the legs and the tail attached. So now what I want you to do is carry on around. We're going to do single stitches. I'm going to swap over to my orange and we're going to do 4. we're going to do 4 rows of single stitches. So I'm going to move on to my orange. I'm going to pull 1, 2, can probably pull my green marker out of the tail there now too. Get out, get out. Okay, so that's our first stitch. On to the next in the purple. 1, 2. On to the next in the purple. So we're just going around putting a single stitch into each one of these purple stitches. Single stitch. Okay, on to the next. And we just move bypassing the legs and the tail because they're attached, so we don't need to do anything with them now. We're just going to go straight along that purple row. Purple for me, whatever colour you've chosen to do. I can't wait to see what you guys choose for your monkeys. So single stitch every stitch. Single stitch. Over halfway now. Single. Just pass that second leg. Single. Single. Okay. Second last one. And for the last purple stitch there, we go through. Oh, my noisy child. And then we grab not the first but the second orange, pull a single through, and that's the end of our row. Ta-da! So now we're going to do, we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 3 more rows. So 3 more rows of single. It's up to you if you want to change colour for each row, but I'm going to keep doing it that way. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more rows exactly the same as I've just done, putting a single into each stitch, and I'll fast forward through and I'll meet you at that last row. We'll go ahead and add the arms. So 3 more rows of single stitches. Now I've done my 3 more rows. Now what we want to do is grab our arms and we want to join them the same way we did the legs, except we want to position them more on the side of the body. So you'll see that your ending of your row is actually now coming up to the front of the monkey a little bit more. It will make its way around, but it's fine. So there's our legs and tail joined. So we want to put him to the side and flatten him down. And find where you want to place your arms. So have the seam of the arm towards the back a little bit. And probably do a count of how many stitches you've got. You should have roughly 20. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep, perfect. So we'll probably want to have 10, around about 10 at the front. Each arm is going to be 4 once again. So you'll probably join the arm right about where the leg ends in a way, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start with joining my arm, pardon me, where my seam is. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to pull my hook out and hold onto those stitches, and I'm going to find a roundabouts in the middle of my arm. I'm going to go through 1 stitch on one side, so we want to leave probably 2. I'm going to go through 1 stitch, and then I'm going to go through the stitch that has that slip band to try and close it off. Ta-da! Like so. So I'm about halfway, leaving a couple of stitches at the front. I'm just going to do the back stitches, and then I'm going to get that stitch back out of my fingers, back onto the hook. So we've got that like that. Okay, I'll put a stitch through and then I'll remove that green one to get down the road. So onto orange, I'm going to pull 1 single through all of those, and then another single. Then I'm going to go and get rid of that green one to get it out of the road. It should be closed off because I've gone through it. So then go through the next stitch in the arm and the next stitch opposing that, and onto the next stitch in the body. Pull an orange. Yes, monkey. And then pull another orange. Sorry guys. Okay, so I've just done 2 stitches. Now like I said, it doesn't matter. You don't have to add your arm straight in like I have if you found that your row has ended somewhere around here. Do a couple of single stitches and then go to add your arm in. Just line up where you think the arm's going to be, and you will add it in the same way. So I've done 2. What I might do is I might just grab the last one on the end here. Just add a band in, like so. And then I'm going to go through that same one just for the stitch, just so that the arm looks like it's more connected, and a single through. So I'm just going to follow around the back for each stitch, a single for each stitch. 1, 2, till you get around to about the same spot. So you want to have about 4 stitches. So I'm going to get through, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 single stitches, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other arm as what I did. I'll add an extra stitch there so it's mirrored. So I'll grab that second arm and place it so the little handy bit's pointing forward, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to put single stitch through that next one, just adding a band. Then I'm going to do what I did and just grab the last bit of band and go through that same stitch again, just to start adding the arm. like so. Just less likely to have any gaps that way. So now I'm going to go through that first stitch and the one opposing it on the arm, so we've grabbed 2, into the next stitch on the body, pulling a single through those, and then a single through all. Find the next 2, so that one, the next opposing one on the arm, and then the next stitch on the body. Pull a band through, and then a band through all, going on to the next stitch in the arm and the opposing stitch, and then the next stitch in the body. So if you hold it out, you can see where the last one was. So we're going into the next, pulling a stitch, and a stitch through all. And the last one, I'm going to incorporate where I ended my arm, so I'm going to go through that one, and then through where that slip knot band is, and then through the next one in the body, and then I'm just going to throw an extra, we'll go back through there again, in the body, make sure it is the next one, yep, and then I'm going to throw an extra band into there. So what I mean by that is I'll pull a single band through all of those, reclaim it. I'm going to take off that little marker, make sure I've caught it correctly, yep. Then I'm going to go back through the little one on the side, just one on the side of the arm, one little bit, one stitch, so 2 pieces, yep. And that one again, so I've just put an extra band through, so there's an extra one on our hook. Like I said, it makes our arms look like they're joined that bit better, gives them a little bit more weight. Now moving on to the next stitch, single, next stitch in the body, single, and go around and finish off that other arm that I started with. So singles all the way around the front. And once you get to around about where the middle of the legs are, you can probably actually, I'm going to go back 1 stitch, you can probably do a decrease there so it actually brings the head in slightly. So I've just gone 1, 2, 3 stitches past my arm. The next 2 stitches, which are about the middle of the body, I'm going to decrease, so I'm going to go 1 through that stitch and then 1 through the next, keeping those bands on my hook. I'm turning those 2 into 1, like so. So it's just giving a little bit of a neck there, kind of just decreasing it by 1, and then single stitch, single stitch, until we've got about 2 stitches left to finish off that arm. So the next one, I'm just going to grab a little pinchy band and go through. So I'm just grabbing that little one off the edge, just a little bunch off the edge, going through the next one in the body, pulling a band, and then I'm going to go through those 2 stitches on the top of the arm. So we'll go 1 that I've pretty much already got, and the 1 opposing that, just to make it more secure. Back through there. So we've got that extra band on there, and pull a band through. And the last one, through one side of the arm, through the opposing stitch on the other side of the arm, through the last stitch in the body, pull a band through, and then we're going to find not the first orange but the second orange, and pull a single band through. And that is that row done, where we've attached the arms and we've done that tiny little decrease at the front there. So that's what you should have. Sorry I can't fit him all on the screen. There we go. So for our next row, what I want to do is actually a decrease above each of the arms, just a single decrease in the middle. So because my row's starting in the middle of my arm, I'm going to start on a decrease. Now it doesn't matter for you if your row starts around here or around there. You're just going to do single stitches until you get to the middle of the arm, the 2 stitches in the middle of the arm. So I'm going to start by decreasing, so this stitch and the next stitch. I'm starting on a decrease. I'm going to turn it into 1, so that stitch and the next stitch, stitch them together. So there's my first stitch. Then I'm going to move on and I'm going to go singles, single stitch in each one of those stitches till I reach the middle of the next arm. So single, 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 this is just giving him a little bit more of kind of a shoulder to a neck, I guess. Single, so I've got my first stitch of the arm there. I'll do as a single. The next 2 stitches I'm going to decrease, so I'll go in through the first stitch, pull a band, in through the next stitch, pull a band, and then stitch them together. So there's my decrease. I'm going to go singles all the way back around, single stitches until we meet the other side. Single, 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 nearly there now. Second last stitch. And so my last stitch I will go through, so that's where I started, so I've got that one, pop a single band in, then find not the first but the second, which was the decrease, and grab that, so I'll have 2 bands coming out of it for me, and then pulling a band through and closing off that row. So the next row I'm going to change back to orange again, and we're just going to go single stitch into every stitch. So that's my first stitch, single stitch into every stitch till we get back around where we started. So you should have roughly about 17 stitches now because we've done a few decreases. Single stitch, getting close to finishing, single stitching, single stitch, single stitch, and pass it on, and you can see that we've brought it in a little bit, so it's becoming that bit more narrow for the face with those decreases on the previous row. Single, single, okay, getting there. Single stitching all the way across the front of the face. second last one. And last one for this row, so we go through, pull a band, find not the first but the second orange, and pulling a band through all. So now we've gotten up to where we're basically going to add, look at where the nose is going to be added on. So your nose is going to be about there. We need to do another row so that we've got enough room to put the eyes. We're just going to keep it singles, and then we're going to add the face. So switching back over to purple for me. One band, two. I'm just putting a single into each one. Once again. Oh. Bumping myself there. Okay. I'm just going to fast forward through this. And the last one. Not the first but the second purple. So I've just gone around that row and put a single stitch once again into each of the stitches. Now to make it a bit easier, what I'm going to do is grab an orange band and just slip knot that band that we ended on, that row. Fix your bands around. That's basically our face before we do our decreases and close off the head. So there's your monkey. Choose your buttons for his eyes, buttons or beads, or you could even try and make some yourself, but I'm just going to use buttons. You can choose a button for his belly button if you'd like to. So I might do that. Something cute like so. And what you want to do is grab the mouth. I'm going to make mine a little bit kind of long waysy, but not. Squish it down a little bit. Get my nostril bands right. Okay. And we want to put some fixing bands around so that we can fix his face onto there. Okay. So we want it to be fixed starting at the orange and ending at the orange, like so. Grab some orange bands and maybe a couple of purple or whatever colours you've used for your striping. I'm going to go in the top of the mouth and I'm just going to pick a band around the edge. We've already got one. I've put one there to slip knot. That's ended off. It's ended off the mouth, so it's keeping it closed. So I might go one to the next one there and just put a slip band. Count 1, 2, the next one, and put a slip knot band. 1, 2. This one I might make it. Yeah, we'll go orange. Orange again. The next one I'll do in purple. Purple. And 1, 2, we'll do another orange. 1, 2. Another orange. I might just slip the purple around there somewhere. Okay, so these are our fastening bands. It's up to you. If you want to do just like a short little chain, you can put inside the mouth to stuff it to make it sit out a bit more obvious. But maybe not with that nostril there. But I'm just going to leave it hollow and fasten it on a little bit bunched up so that it doesn't need any stuffing in there, okay? So what I'm going to do is put my fingers down through the middle, place the bottom of the mouth along, and start poking those orange bands through. So poke one orange band through around about where I want the mouth. I'm going to get my hook and I'm going to start hooking onto those orange bands. So there's one, and put the next one through about there, hook onto it. At the front, go the next one. My next one is a purple, so I'm going to push it up through the next row there, which is purple. Just hook onto that. Gets a bit tricky, but you can do it. Push them up on there so you can hold your, let your hook just sit there, should I say. Let your bands just sit on your hook. Look at your face. Going to be placing, so there's a purple one there. And tuck that other purple in. Work my way around, so I'm going to push my orange through there. Place it onto the hook. Work my next orange through just above it. Place it on my hook. Next orange through. Just working my way around. Doesn't have to be perfect. Your bands will settle and you can kind of smush it around a bit, so it's not fastened yet, so you can always change it. So that's my last one. I just have a quick little look with them all on the hook. It looks like it's roughly in the right spot for me. So I've got all of these bands here. I feel like I'm missing one. Where's this one? There we go. We'll use this purple one. There. And push that through. Put that on my hook. Now I'm going to grab an orange band. I'm going to pull it through all of those bands off my hook. I'm going to slip knot it, and then I'm going to actually grab another orange band and I'm going to tie those bands together. So I'll grab the band on my fingers, hold all the bands, and I'm going to actually just wrap it around to fasten it a bit more. Make it a bit tighter so it doesn't look like your nose is hanging off his face. And that should be pretty good. Push his nose down. I think it's pretty much in the right spot. What do you think? Fix his mouth up. I think that looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the next row before I put the eyes on. So choose your button eyes or beads or whatever you want to use as eyes, maybe even little eyes that you've bought from a craft shop, and we'll get them together and then we'll do the next row and we'll fasten the eyes. I was going to do the ears when I did the eyes, but it may actually be a little bit easier to do the ears now. So you want to do the same thing. Grab some bands, so probably like an orange, and go on to the next piece, the inside of the ear. Pop another band on there, another slip knot band. Go on to the next piece of the ear, even the center if you want to, but I'm just going to go the next piece. I'm going to pull a purple one, slip knot, and just on the end there too, I think. It's up to you how many bands you want to fasten your ears and your nose on with. I'm just going by feel. So we've got those bands there. like so, all slip knotted onto the inside of the ear. You can do the same thing we did with the nose. You want to find roughly above where the arm joins. Just push your bands through and collect them with your hook. So hold them there with one finger, look on the other side and start pulling them through. Okay, one hook. Sorry guys, out of camera shot. So one there. Try and pull that one through there. So you can even poke your hook up through the rows and grab the bands if that's easier as well. So then, last little band for my ear, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a band, slip knot it through, and I'm going to grab another band and I'm going to tie around it just so that it looks like it's more fastened and it's sturdier and it's attached to the head. So I'll show you what that looks like. There's one of my ears attached with the face. So you want to do the exact same thing to the other side. I'll do that now, but I'll just put it in fast forward, so you'll need to pause and then we'll go on with our next row and the eyes. Okay, so there's my second ear attached. Just give him a bit of a little flex around so he looks more like an ear. We can move on to our next row. So getting your hook back through where that band was, because remember we're moving around the head clockwise with it facing us. Pull my band out. So for this row, we're going to decrease every stitch. So I'm going to move back to orange. I'm going to start, so single, we're going to go start on a decrease, single band through, move on to the next stitch, single band, and then band through both. On to the next, single, band in the next stitch as well, because remember we're decreasing every stitch, and then single band through those. So that's down to another decrease. Next stitch, pull a single band through, move on to the next stitch, pull a single band through, and a single band through all. Sorry about the noise guys. So then on to the next, single band through, and the next stitch, single band through, and a band through all. Another decrease done. Onto the next, single band through, and then the next stitch, single band through, and decrease. Next stitch, single band through, onto the next stitch, single band through, and decrease. Next, single band through, next stitch, single band through, and decrease. Almost back to the front, so next stitch, single band through, next stitch, single band through, and decrease. So for our last ones, what we're going to do is we're just going to go, I've got one left right in the middle where the eyes are. I'm going to go single band through there, and then I'm just going to go straight on to there. So I'm just keeping that a single, not the first but the second orange on the top, and closing it off like so. Now this is where we want to add the eyes and stuff your monkey. So probably grab another band to do a slip knot on there so that you can work with it easier. Flex your bands around and get them untangled where we've done all these decreases, and you should be left with a hole around that size. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 stitches there, which is good. That's a good amount. Even 10's fine. I'm going to grab my buttons and we're going to add them onto the face. So this is what I was talking about earlier while I was looking through my buttons. I found these. I got these from just Spotlight. So I guess most craft shops that sell toy stuffing and doll accessory kind of, you know, that sort of thing. Spotlight's a good one because they sell all different sorts of crafty stuff, teddy making stuff, that sort of thing. So these are only a couple of dollars. I think these were like 99 cents and these were like $1.99, and I got the mixed ones. They're eyes and they have little screw back, pop on backs, so I think I could incorporate them into looming. Yes, I've had to switch the air conditioner on because it's just so hot. And I've chosen my buttons. So I think I've shown my buttons in a previous Instagram or video, I can't remember, but I buy them in bags. They come in bags of assorted sizes. So like this one is the blue. I've put them into containers just to sort the sizing out a little bit. Obviously you can't sort them right down, but they have a nice mixture of different buttons, different sizes. They're about $8 at Spotlight. So I've just taken some out of, I've got some purple ones here too, mixture of dark blue and purple. So I've just taken some out of there. I've chosen these 2 dark blue ones for the eyes. They are about, I'd say about 8mm wide. Then I've got another little one which is a slightly different button. It's got the hole at the back there, and I'm going to use that for a little belly button. And because this is my sister's monkey, she specifically requested these colours, like I said earlier at the start. She has also specifically requested, and she's made me promise, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it obviously, but I do think it's pretty funny. She wants me to put a tiny little button right on its bottom, so she thinks that'd be super cute. She wants it to have a little bottom button. We'll leave it at that. So I will grab a little bit of string or wire. I've usually got it sitting around, but I don't, so I'll have to find it. But you can find like a piece of floss, a piece of thin crafting wire. Fishing line is very good too, so get something like that to thread your eye buttons, beads, whatever you're using, and we'll get them attached. And then also get your extra stuffing for the body. So like I've said before, I'm just using basic hobby fill toy stuffing. And you won't need too much, but it's up to you how fat you want your monkey to be. So yeah. Okay, so I've just found like a piece of jewelry wire, and I've got my band and my button, and I'm going to thread my band onto there. Doesn't have to be very long, mine's quite long. I've used this piece before. I'm going to go through front or the back, it doesn't really matter for now. If you've gone from front to back like I did, you'll just need to switch to the opposite end of the band. So I've just pulled it through and left it there. Now, so that you can get the tension and the band thin enough to get through, pop the end that's the back of the button over your finger, like so. So you're pulling the band tight. Go back through the front of the button on the opposite side, because I'm going to do the crisscross look on the button, and pull them through. Oops, I've just accidentally snapped my band, so I probably should have used a new band instead of a recycled one, which is what I did. Silly, silly me. And sometimes I actually double band these, but these buttons are tiny, so it's hard enough getting one band through. So we'll try that again. Okay, like so. I've just gone from back to front this time. So next time you do it, go from back to front, and then you can just thread straight through the opposite side of the button. Hold on to that band. Once you've got it through, don't pull it with your wire or your line too much, because that is more likely to snap the band. It'll just break it. But have it so that you've got so. Do it again with another band. Thread your band onto your line. Go from back to front through one, hold. You can hold on to those other bands we just put through so that they don't get caught. Give it a little bit of a stretch and then pull it through so it's a bit easier. And then back through the opposite side. Just giving the band that little bit of tension so that you can actually grab onto it. Pull my line out, grab onto the bands. Fix them up slightly, like so. Give a little pull so that they look nice and neat at the front. Sorry guys, I hope that you saw most of that. Was pretty out of focus, but I'm going to do it again with my other buttons, and I'm just going to fast forward while you do yours. So for the little belly button one, which I've chosen, it just has that back piece, so it's pretty easy. Just line up whereabouts I want to put my belly button. You can decide which colour band to use. Might make it purple because I'm going to put it just above the orange. And same thing goes, except you just need the one. Or if you think your hole is big enough, you can put two bands through. It will secure it more, but I wouldn't worry too much with these little guys. Just don't let your cat or your dog get a hold of them, because I've seen some pretty sad photos on Instagram. People making these gorgeous little Amigurumi or Loomigurumi animals, and their pets getting a hold, having a good go. So there we go, like so. What I'm going to do is line him up. Yeah, about there. I'm going to poke my finger through the head to about the center. You know, rough guesstimate. Hold it there with my thumb and then push it up through the top so that I can actually see it through the top of the head. Then just make sure you've got like 1 or 2 bands in between where you pull each piece across, so then it's actually tied around a good piece of the belly. Grab another single band and your hook, go through those 2 bands, single band, pull it through and just do a slip knot. If you're worried about it coming apart, you can do a bit more, but what I might do is just what I usually do to make it that little bit more secure. I'll tie a band to it so that it's not like it's hanging off the belly. I think that that makes it that bit more secure too. And then if you want to, you can slip knot it. You can slip knot it to that end band and then it's even more secure, but it just depends how worried you are. I'm not too worried. That, like that, is fine. Come back through. You can see it's attached to the belly. You haven't distorted the belly too much with tying the bands in, like so. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the eyes. So you're going to pull the head apart a little bit and line up where you want your eyes to go. So I want mine to be roughly in line with the nostrils and just sitting up above and off to the side slightly, like so. Then you're going to fiddle through to the back. What I might do is actually use my hook, go through the purples and just grab a band to start myself off. So I've got 1 band on my hook. I can hold the eye there and flip it around, and just make sure when you're grabbing those bands through that you're just spreading them out so that they're going around the face bands in different directions, if you get what I mean. So you pull one through over here. Very hard to show you, but I hope I'm explaining it well enough. So you pull one of them through there, like so. Now I've got 2 bands on my hook. Yeah. Then you go through and grab another band for the eye, probably through that side of the purple. Not spacing it out too far, but just enough to grab a few bands in between underneath, and then push the last one through in under there. And don't stress because it's not permanent yet, so if it doesn't line up you can always just start again. I know it's annoying, but it's doable. I'm going to tie that off and just see what it looks like. See, I've got all 4 bands there. I'm going to use a purple. I'm just going to feed it through like I have been, grab another single one and tie it around. Doesn't have to be tight because the eyes are fairly tight anyway. I find this just relieves some of that tension on that slip knot band, I guess, so they stay together. And his eye's going to sit about there for me. He's got nice little tiny little googly eyes. So I'm going to do the exact same thing there, probably just fast forward. Okay, so I've attached both of my eyes, and just those dangly bands at the back, if you want to stop them from poking out anywhere, you can just find, you know, like I've got my broken band off to the side here, one of your tie bands, and just do a slip knot just to keep them together so that they're out of the road. and tuck them in behind, so then you don't have to worry about them poking out anywhere. Okay, and that's pretty much what it should look like. Now we're going to stuff him and close him off. So like I said, you're not going to need too much stuffing. Just grab out and smush down how much you would guess and hold it up to your monkey. I'm just going to go with about that much to begin with, and I'm going to find my last band and just start pushing it in gently. You only really need to push it down to his bottom. Making sure you don't get caught on any bands, and push him down, give him a fiddle and see how fat you think he's going to be. I'm going to add a bit more to my head. You get to have a real look at the shape of him. I think that's enough stuffing for my little guy. So just make sure your bands are all comfortable where you want them to be. You can poke your hook down into the stuffing if you need to, and just kind of fiddle those bands inside so that you can't see those ending bands for your buttons. Shouldn't have too much of a problem, but if you do find that you're seeing those bands, just try and hide them in the stuffing a little bit, like so. Now I'm going to switch back to purple, and all we need to do is close off his head and he's done. So I'm going to pick up those last orange ending bands where you can see that purple one slip knot through, and pull out that purple. Now what we want to do, we've got I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches around the top, like I said, which is good. Doesn't matter if you got 8, doesn't matter if you got 10. You don't really want too many more, but it's not a big deal. Let me go back to my purple, and I'm going to go single band through that orange. Then I'm going to move on to the next stitch. I'm going to go single band. So we're going to put a single band through every one of these top stitches to close the head off. Through the next, single band, reclaiming and holding it on our hook. Through the next, single band, through the next, single band. So when you get somewhere around the back, so about halfway, grab 2 single bands and feed them through all of the bands off your hook. Okay, and then reclaim, so we've got them all there. Now what I want you to do is put them on your finger, or just put like a holding hook through them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going around. So I'm going to go into the next stitch. So I might actually swap fingers and put that on this finger. But like I said, you can put a hook through there, it's fine. Next stitch, I'm going to pull a band through. Really am making it hard for myself actually. Okay, stay there guys. So, next band through, then onto the next stitch, next band, single band through, onto the next stitch, single band through, onto the next stitch, single band through, and this is where you want to grab that one side of those 2 bands that have gone through the others, And hold the other ones so I don't lose them. And we're going to pull those two through the rest so that we can finish it off like so. Those two bands are going through. I've just lost one, but that's okay. Go back through there and replace it. So you've got those two bands through all of those singular stitches that we've just closed off the head. Okay, now I'm just going to get a single band, do a slip knot like so, and I'm going to reach up through the back and I'm going to grab that single band that I slip knot, I feed it down through, and I'm going to hide it so that it's gone, or it's not as obvious anyway. Ta-da! There you go, guys. So I hope that you could follow on with that. I always have a hard time closing things off on camera, but there he is. Yay! Super cute little sock monkey. Squish the stuffing around so you get him all nice shape. Fix up my face a little bit. You can separate your bands a little bit on his mouth too if you want. Try and give him a little bit of a grin kind of thing. But I think that he looks super cute. And like I said, I would approximate that he used just over 1,000 bands. So he's not bad on the band usage at all. And yeah, I hope you guys like him. I hope you could follow on. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for your patience waiting for this little guy to come out. And yeah, take care, and we'll see you next time. Find me on Instagram and Facebook. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let me know what you think. Bye.